The life of Louis Vuitton, from humble beginnings to timeless legacy. In the lush and rugged countryside of eastern France, far from the glamour of Parisian boulevards and the bustling fashion capitals of the world, a boy was born who would one day revolutionize the world of luxury travel. His name was Louis Vuitton, and his journey from a modest village to becoming the founder of one of the most iconic brands in history is a tale of determination, innovation, and vision. Louis Vuitton was born on August 4th, 1821, in Anchery, a tiny village in the Jura region of France. Life in Anchery was simple and harsh. The rural setting offered little in terms of wealth or opportunity. But it did instill in young Louis a sense of discipline, resourcefulness, and respect for craftsmanship. His father, Xavier Vuitton, was a farmer and carpenter, and from him, Louis learned the basics of woodworking and the value of meticulous, hands-on labor. His mother, Caron Gallard, passed away when he was just 10 years old, an event that forced him to grow up quickly. As a boy, Louis was curious and observant. He would watch his father shape wood with precision and care, noting how every cut and measurement mattered. These early lessons would stay with him for the rest of his life. But Anchi was no place for dreams of greatness. At the age of 13, with little more than ambition in his pocket, Louis made a decision that would change his life forever. He would leave his village and head to Paris, a journey of nearly 300 miles, on foot. The road to Paris was long and arduous. It took Louis more than 2 years to reach the city. Along the way, he worked various odd jobs to survive, finding food and shelter wherever he could. But he never lost sight of his goal. Each step was driven by the belief that a better life awaited him beyond the horizon. Finally, in 1837, at the age of 16, Louis arrived in Paris. The city was alive with opportunity and ambition, a stark contrast to the rural world he had known. It was the early days of industrialization, and Paris was becoming a center of art, fashion, and commerce. Louis found work as an apprentice to Monsieur Marichal, a highly respected trunk maker and packer. In 19th century France, this was no small job. The upper classes were beginning to travel more frequently, especially by train and steamship, and they needed sturdy, functional luggage to carry their belongings. Marichal's workshop was known for creating custom trunks and expertly packing delicate items for travel. Under Marichal's mentorship, Louis learned not only the technical skills of trunk making, but also the refined tastes and expectations of aristocratic clients. After spending 17 years mastering his craft, Louis was ready to set out on his own. In 1854, he opened his first workshop at 4 Rue Neuve des Capucines in Paris, close to the prestigious Place Vendôme. That same year, he married Clemence Emily Perrose, a woman who would support him both personally and professionally. His shop's sign read, "Securely packs the most fragile objects," specializing in packing fashions. This was more than a promise. It was a mission statement. Louis Vuitton quickly gained a reputation for precision, quality, and reliability. One of his earliest and most influential clients was Empress Eugénie de Montijo, the wife of Napoleon III. She hired Vuitton as her personal boxmaker and packer. This endorsement from the imperial household propelled his name into elite circles. Aristocrats and wealthy families sought out Vuitton for his craftsmanship and discretion. But Louis was more than just a skilled artisan. He was an innovator. In 1858, just 4 years after opening his shop, Louis Vuitton introduced a revolutionary new product, a rectangular, flat-top trunk made from lightweight, waterproof canvas. Most trunks at the time had rounded lids to allow water runoff, but they were difficult to stack. Vuitton's new design was practical, modern, and elegant. The canvas he used was also more durable and less susceptible to moisture than leather. This simple change transformed luggage forever. His trunks were not only beautiful, but functional. They could be stacked neatly in the cargo holds of trains and ships, making them ideal for the age of global travel. Soon, Louis Vuitton trunks were in high demand across Europe and beyond. The success of the canvas trunk gave Vuitton the confidence to expand his business. He added more designs to his collection, customized for specific needs such as wardrobes, writing desks, and even trunks with hidden compartments. Each piece was handcrafted with meticulous attention to detail. The reputation of his brand grew steadily, bolstered by glowing word of mouth among the European elite. Vuitton also began to experiment with different materials and finishes. He introduced the beige and brown striped ray canvas in 1872 to discourage copycats. While stylish and recognizable, this pattern was eventually replaced by the iconic monogram created by his son. Success, however, was not without hardship. In 1870, the Franco-Prussian War broke out. Paris was besieged, and Louis Vuitton's workshop was looted and destroyed. He returned to find his business in ruins. But like the journey to Paris years before, he would not let setbacks define him. With determination, he rebuilt his workshop in Asnières-sur-Seine, a quiet suburb outside Paris. He also built a family home on the same property, combining his work and personal life in a seamless space that reflected his values. In this new workshop, he continued to innovate. One of his most important inventions was the tumbler lock system, a secure and uniquely numbered lock mechanism designed to prevent theft. The lock was so effective that it is still used in Louis Vuitton trunks today. As the demand for luxury travel goods continued to rise, Vuitton became a symbol not only of high society, but also of quality and trust. His trunks were not mass-produced, but individually crafted to meet the exact needs of his clients. This bespoke approach laid the foundation for the modern concept of luxury. He also recognized the emotional connection people had with their belongings. For many of his wealthy clients, trunks were not just containers. They were private vaults for letters, heirlooms, jewelry, and garments. In this sense, Vuitton was building more than luggage. He was building trust. By the 1880s, Louis Vuitton was a household name among Europe's elite. His products symbolized sophistication, adventure, and exclusivity. But even as he achieved great success, he was preparing for the future. In 1885, he opened his first store outside of France in London. His son, Georges Feriol Vuitton, began working closely with him. Georges was not only skilled in the family craft, but also had a sharp business mind and a flair for branding. When Louis Vuitton died in 1892 at the age of 70, Georges inherited the company. Under his leadership, the brand would not only survive but thrive. One of Georges' first major contributions was the creation of the iconic LV monogram canvas in 1896. The design featured the interlocking L and V initials, along with floral and caterfoil motifs inspired by Japanese art. It was beautiful, distinctive, and most importantly, hard to counterfeit. Georges also expanded the company's international reach, showing Louis Vuitton products at exhibitions around the world and opening boutiques in cities like New York and Buenos Aires. Under Georges, Louis Vuitton evolved from a respected trunk maker into a global symbol of luxury. He also championed catalog sales and luxury advertising. He realized early on that a brand must not only deliver excellence, but also project an image. His marketing efforts helped elevate Louis Vuitton from a niche family business into a global enterprise. The 20th century brought enormous changes to travel, fashion, and consumer behavior. Cars replaced horse-drawn carriages. Airplanes made global travel commonplace. Through all, Louis Vuitton adapted. The brand introduced new products like soft-sided bags and briefcases to match the evolving needs of modern travelers. The company maintained a sense of exclusivity by refusing to franchise and carefully selecting the location and design of each boutique. This helped cultivate the feeling that owning a Louis Vuitton product was a sign of distinction and taste. World War I and II slowed production, but the company weathered both conflicts. In the post-war years, the appetite for luxury surged, especially among American consumers. Louis Vuitton products became a favorite among Hollywood stars and celebrities, adding to their allure. In the 1970s and 1980s, Louis Vuitton expanded into Asia, building a strong presence in Japan and later in China. These strategic moves laid the groundwork for Louis Vuitton's dominance in the luxury market today. In 1997, a historic shift occurred. Louis Vuitton appointed Marc Jacobs as its first creative director. Jacobs was known for his rebellious spirit and fashion-forward thinking. He launched Louis Vuitton's first ready-to-wear clothing line and introduced edgy collaborations with artists like Steven Sprouse and Takashi Murakami. These collaborations blurred the line between fashion and art. Murakami's colorful reinterpretations of the LV monogram brought the brand to a younger, more contemporary audience. Louis Vuitton was no longer just a name for the old world elite. It was cool, bold, and relevant. Subsequent creative directors, such as Nicolas Ghesquière, continued to evolve the brand with futuristic aesthetics and innovative runway shows. In 2023, the appointment of Pharrell Williams as men's creative director further expanded Louis Vuitton's reach into pop culture and music. The brand's retail spaces became immersive experiences, blending architecture, art, and luxury into one environment. Stores in Tokyo, Dubai, and New York City became landmarks in their own right. More than a century after his death, the story of Louis Vuitton continues to inspire. From a small village in the French countryside to the global runways of Milan, Tokyo, and New York, his name is etched into the fabric of fashion history. The legacy he left behind is more than a logo or a product. It is a way of thinking, a commitment to excellence, a respect for craftsmanship, and a vision for how form and function can coexist in harmony. Louis Vuitton didn't just create luggage. He created a new way of traveling, a new way of living, and a new standard for luxury. His story is a timeless reminder that humble beginnings are not barriers to greatness. With vision, resilience, and an unyielding commitment to excellence, one man transformed the way the world moves. And all of it began with a dream and a long walk to Paris.